Okay, this problem's a little different in that we are given right away that these triangles are congruent. So usually we need to prove that some triangles are congruent. But in this case we're given that. And then I think we are going to end up proving some other triangles being congruent actually. So we've got our statements here on the left. And our reasons on the right as always. Alright. Okay, so we know that RUV, so triangle RUV is congruent to triangle TSV. It's a horrible congruent sign. But we are given that information. And we want to prove that RS, which is down here, is congruent to TU. Well, what can we mark about from these triangles here? So we know that RUV, so RUV congruent to TSV. Let's look for some corresponding sides because we know that those are congruent in congruent triangles. So you see that RU would be a corresponding side with TS, RU, TS. We also know that UV here will be corresponding to SV. So let's mark that. And then finally we know that VR is going to correspond to VT. Okay, so let's write down all that information. We know that RU is congruent to TS. And we know that because those are corresponding parts in these congruent triangles. So corresponding parts in congruent triangles are congruent. Okay, similarly we've got UV is congruent to SV for the same reasoning. And then finally we have VR is congruent to VT for the same reasons. Alright, that's very nice. Okay, if we want to prove that this line here, let me highlight that in red. We want to prove that this guy is congruent to this guy. So how I'm going to think about doing that here is taking this triangle on the bottom and showing that it's congruent to this triangle here. Because then we have corresponding sides, and we know that corresponding sides in triangles that are congruent are congruent. So the last, I need one more piece of information. I have two sides that are congruent in each of them. How about this angle right here? We know that these two angles are going to be congruent because those are vertical angles. So then I can say that TVU, angle TVU, is congruent. We gotta go the same order we went along the 3 before, so RVS, angle RVS. Okay, and I know that because those are vertical angles. Alright, so now we've got three pieces of information. We can actually prove that those triangles are congruent. So I've got triangle TVU is going to be congruent to triangle RVS. Notice that I'm going along the 3, then the angle, and then the 2. 3, angle, 2. Why do I know that? I've got side, and then an angle, and then side. Side, angle, side. So this is by side, angle, side again. Okay, and then finally I can actually say that these line segments now are congruent because they are corresponding parts of congruent triangles. And we know that corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. And we're done.